Thank you all for taking the time to chat with me today. This series of talks are really focused on, it's more of an informal presentation. It's really to highlight some of the capabilities of the platform, but really the intent is to not just show you really how to use the platform, it's more of why you would use a specific feature, talk about some of the new capabilities that we have, this type of stuff. So really it's, if you've been to these before, you know I'm going to just share a couple of slides just to sort of talk a little bit about the context of the capability, and then I'll just walk you through a short example of how the capability could be used or is being used, this type of stuff. And so today's talk is really focused around our Facebook integration and some of the things we're doing with the Facebook integration. And so I'm going to talk about all of our challenges that we face doing paid advertisements, and introduce sort of the idea of what is Facebook lead ads, and bring back in how you can use behavioral retargeting, this type of stuff. So I think we're all facing the same challenges as marketers. Is if we've got our marketing hat on, the challenge we'll all face, and there's been a survey here talking about it, is the number one challenge we all face is how do I generate high quality leads? And really, if we are feeding sales folks, let's face it, they've got an appetite that is distinguished. You could say that this is a great lead, and I think at the end of the day, if they don't have their credit card in hand, then arguably they'll push back and say, oh, that's a good lead, that's not a great lead. So yeah, the challenge we face is how do we take our limited resources, time and money, and apply pressure to a population of people and create good leads. I think that's the biggest challenge we're all facing. Now, there's lots of different strategies for lead gen and demand gen, and definitely ActiveDEMAND is well positioned to help with a lot of these strategies you have in place. And I think that one of the strategies that a lot of people do, including ourselves, is pay for traffic. Now, as far as paid traffic, there's lots of different ways to pay for traffic, but definitely one way is using paid advertising, search engine marketing advertising. And the reality is that I think everybody is looking at this as their number one go-to medium for generating leads or lead gen. And as a result, it's the case that more people are jumping on. There's going to be a lot more competition on the keywords that pay, so to speak. So our cost per click is going up. So you can see here, ad spend is increasing dramatically. And because there's a lot more people, it's very popular. You'll see the graph on the right there. It's showing that ad spend is increasing here, but what's ramping up quickly is definitely the cost per click. So it's getting a lot more expensive to actually to play in this. And it may be costing more, but at least it's not generating as many high quality leads according to these graphs. So I think that, and I just want to, if you haven't heard this concept, it's a fairly well-known phrase, is the concept of friction. And what friction is some variable that is slowing down the buying process. Really, you'd think that the least amount of friction possible is the goal, but it's definitely something that is something that is extremely important, and we need to think about, if we are spending money on advertising and demand gen, that we think about how friction plays in the process. Now, there's been lots of studies on this, and this is one of the examples that's been leaned on many times, is Expedia, the example of Expedia removing one form element from their forms, and it was a company name, and it resulted in a $12 million profit increase. And I think we all know this intuitively, right? Is you know, the more forms you throw at a prospect, the less likely they're actually going to they're going to fill out the form. People hate filling out forms to begin with, and if you're asking them to fill out a massive survey before you give them access to your products or services, clearly extreme friction. And I still see this today as I go to some people's sites, and they have massive intake forms. So the point of the story is really we have to be cognizant of what role friction plays in the buying process. Now, it's a case that there's really two dials that we can play with, and this is I learned this from marketing experiments many years ago. And it's a case that there's volume of leads, quality of leads, right? So what we can do is if we reduce the friction completely, sure, we're going to get tons and tons and tons of leads. I remember my previous business was in interfaces for industrial control systems. We sold a product called drivers, and definitely we could reduce the friction and just go target any keyword search for drivers, and all of a sudden, instead of people coming and looking for industrial control system interfaces, they're looking for printer drivers, which there's tons of people looking for printer drivers back in the day, but you know, so we're getting all these clicks, zero friction, zero quality. So really what we want to do is understand that friction plays a role, and plays a good role. You can increase friction to reduce the volume and increase the quality. So we have to be thinking about friction, good and bad is the reality of it. And I think that one of the nice things about native ads inside, for example, Facebook, and there's lots of different platforms that have this concept of a native ad, but specifically I'm going to be talking about Facebook. So the idea with typically if we do for example, search engine marketing, as I have some ads, I'm targeting some keyword search, they click the ad, goes to a landing page, they fill out the page, then they are introduced to sales, etc. Now, the idea of the Facebook ads is that basically we're targeting right inside Facebook, and Facebook knows who you are. And it's a case that if they're serving an ad, instead of leaving the Facebook ecosystem, that the concept is that they just, you know, pass their information from Facebook to the vendor, you, the marketer. So it's the forms are pre-populated, it's extremely fast, mobile friendly, etc. So there's a lot of advantages to using, for example, the Facebook lead ads, because someone's in Facebook right there. It's whether it's in the news feed on the side or whatever, they just click it, and the information's already there. It's way less, fewer steps. The friction is really low if you're using a form embedded directly inside the ad within Facebook. And it's a case there's less steps as well, right? Because you think about somebody clicks an ad, goes to a landing page, on the landing page, fills out a bunch of form, gets the lead. And these stats were actually from one of our partners, LeadsBridge. They were talking about, from their perspective, what they've measured is a significant lift in number of quality leads that are generated using Facebook, going through Facebook lead ads versus, for example, doing the form to a landing page route. And something else that's been interesting is that there's a significant reduction. It actually costs less money than competing for those specific keywords that are in high demand and hence high cost. So there's a lot lower price point for lead ads, and we've been experimenting with ourselves as ActiveDEMAND, and we're getting quite a bit of success with marketing with Facebook. And anecdotally, it's like I'm an older fellow, and it's a case that I think there's a lot more, if you think about the demographics of people using Facebook, actually not from a marketing perspective, but consuming, I think the demographic is a little bit older who are using Facebook, and the good thing is that quite often the decision makers are quite older too. So we've been seeing this correlation with our spend in Facebook, and it's actually producing results. So think about the friction. As one of the downsides, I think, is with lead ads, is that the friction is so low, people maybe they don't realize that they've just for example, submitted a lead ad. So with this in mind, think about friction. It's sometimes good to add a little bit of friction with these lead ads, just so that it's the case that you are engaging, and maybe you're going to get a little bit of more information out of it than out of the lead, besides just the name and the contact information that Facebook knows about. So consider friction, and consider adding a bit of friction to get a little bit more information, because sure, no friction is good, but at the end of the day, you might want to get a little bit more information out of the prospect through the lead ad process, and a little bit of extra friction also again increases the quality, but also gives you a bit more information as part of the process. Now, something that if you've listened to me speak before, I'm constantly talking about, because I think one of the strengths of ActiveDEMAND, I know is one of the strengths of ActiveDEMAND, is our behavioral targeting. Our ability to use dynamic personalization, dynamic content, and as you'll see here, dynamic advertising using behavioral cues. Like if we've done retargeting before, using, for example, paid ads on landing pages, we end up inferring a lot of things, but the reality is ActiveDEMAND collects a ton of information, whether it's link clicks, email link clicks, time on site, page visits, what people speak about. All of this type of stuff can be used to get the right ads in front of the right people, and the experience, not just from within, for example, the Facebook ecosystem, but definitely the web experience, the advertising outside of the Facebook ecosystem, and of course our communications using our behavioral targeting. So it's combining all of these elements is really the best way to get the right people, the right message, and of course the right conversions. So that's the slides, and I'm just going to walk through very simple. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time walking through the back end and sort of show you what these pieces are all about. And if you have questions today, we'll be asking questions at the end of the presentation, but feel free to just chat on the little sidebar there and ask questions, because we have people that are also part of the team here that can answer questions while I'm talking. So the idea of the lead ad, so this is inside Facebook, and Facebook's interface, it may be a little bit complex, but at least they change it every other day, so that what you learned yesterday, you get to relearn today. So it's and I think Google went through this too. But anyways, I'll walk through here. So here's an example of one of our lead ads, and this is actually done fairly well for us. And so we're targeting marketing agencies. So we originally just had a regular ad, but now what we've tied to the ad is an ebook download. So with the ebook download, we've created a lead form, and the idea is that we can take add some friction to the download, but they're still inside the Facebook ecosystem. So we create this form, and this will be pre-populated by Facebook if Facebook has the data, and we can continue, right? So it's basically this form here exists in Facebook, so they'll see the little ad and their streamer on the sidebar or something like that, and the call to action is this ebook. And this has actually done well for us. We've actually got some great trials and made some sales from it as a result of this ad. So people are engaging with us, and they are connecting with us via this ad. So really the process is I create the lead form inside Facebook, and then in ActiveDEMAND, what I'm going to do is create a form that mirrors the form elements in the Facebook lead ad. So we have a few form fields here, we're going to make those same form fields here. And then with these form fields, like this is a styled form. It doesn't matter. Nobody sees this form. This is just an endpoint for the conversion. So when I created my lead form here, I got all the elements that I want. I create the endpoint here. And then now what I want to do is I want to connect the dots. So basically in the account settings, I'm in my account settings, and I go into integrations, Facebook, you can see in the background here, and then I click new, and now there's going to be a mapping of the Facebook lead ad form, and I select it in the drop down here. And then on this side will be I would select here the form that I'm going to connect that form to, and then I have the fields and I map the fields. So now when this form is filled out, it's going to post to this form. So, and what this ends up looking like is that, and here's an example of somebody who did actually do this. And so this person here came in and saw the download. So I should say saw the ebook, and then from the ebook, clicked the, with their thumb or mouse click on inside Facebook, which posted this. The confirmation page delivered the ebook to this person, and then of course we got the attribution as a result of the lead ad form. So it's we get the data in on the timeline. We get the attribution like we normally do, and really it's the seamless process. Then of course we can start using automation to determine, is this a lead? Who's it going to be sent to? What's the right post processing of this lead to get them to take the next step? Because for us the ebook is just it's a high funnel step. For us, what we want them to really do is either book a demonstration or sign up for a trial. So there's a drip campaign at the other end of this, that when somebody fills out this form for the ebook, we're going to start applying pressure to take the next step. And we're taking, of course, with us, it's all about personalization. So as soon as they filled out the form, ActiveDEMAND went and pulled their logo, and we would determine what their vertical is, and then of course our website's just going to wrap this person's story up so that when they come to the website, the story is very well aligned. And this was an agency ebook, so chances are that we assumed that inferred this person was an agency. But I think it's a case that after they filled out the form, we would know, because they told us who the company was. So the question is, what is attribution? Attribution is the process of relating a conversion to actual spend, attributing the conversion to the specific allocation of effort and money, right? So in this case, the conversion was the form fill. It was attributed to our Facebook spend with our Facebook ads. It's a good question. So this is what it looks like inside ActiveDEMAND. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the targeting, right? So here we targeted, and we would have targeted this with one way of targeting is using, like, I think Facebook's got some fantastic tools for targeting, but what we also have is this concept of dynamic audiences. So a dynamic audience is where we build a behavioral audience in ActiveDEMAND, and then in ActiveDEMAND, we can link this and push this audience to a custom audience in Facebook, and then target our ads at that custom audience, right? So it ends up being, one, in broad strokes, there's a concept, we're targeting agencies, but we can hyper target. We can target right down to a specific behavior or interest. And I'll explain that now. So I'm going to combine in this story, and if you've seen my demonstrations before, you've seen this story, but I'll walk through it and show you how it flows through to Facebook. So as you know, we have a landing page tool, and hence we compete with landing page vendors. And a strategy that we use is we target keyword searches for our competitors with that. So we're using search engine marketing, and we're fighting for the cost per click with all these other players in this space. And in fact, when you see like for example, somebody searches for unbounce, all of their competitors, including us, are trying to compete for that search, right? But what the heck? We have this ad. We target unbounce, and we target lead pages, for example. One of our competitors, they see this ad, they click the ad, it goes to our landing page. Our landing page, of course, is going to talk all about how much better we are than lead pages in depth. If they search for unbounce, the exact same ad shows up, and the exact same ad goes to the exact same page, and we're using dynamic content. So the page dynamically and structurally adapts and is now talking about our unique compete strategy against unbounce. So we're using dynamic content for conversion rate optimization. So that's the search engine piece here. Now let's say somebody searches here, clicks the ad, and instead of filling out a form, they phone us. Now they're on the phone with our sales rep, and they're asking all these questions about ActiveDEMAND. They're saying, oh, wow, that's fantastic, but do you integrate with my sales tool? I'm currently using Pipeline Deals. So Pipeline Deals, fantastic CRM. So right now, if we're using our conventional marketing, which is the search engine marketing like I showed you here, or if we use retargeting, at this point in the journey, we can infer the person who clicked that ad has an interest in landing pages. So we could retarget them with a bunch of, we make great landing page ads, right? There's no way to infer what CRM they have, right? Because all we have from the web journey is they clicked our ad for about landing pages. But because ActiveDEMAND is call tracking, it records the calls, analyzes the conversation, and now it knows the person who clicked that ad and is on that page and on the phone right now has Pipeline Deals, right? So of course, it's a case that we're going to target this person, like we have this, I'll just show you this dynamic audience. So this is Pipeline Deals, people who we believe have an interest in Pipeline Deals. How do we know that they have an interest in Pipeline Deals? Well, they talked about Pipeline Deals on the phone. Maybe they clicked one of our ads about Pipe. Maybe they were referred from Pipeline Deals website. Maybe a search engine result page that had Pipeline Deals in the URL. This person might have visited the website coming in from a search, organic search. So we have all of these things that we're collecting, and we can now, of course, dynamically adapt our whole website. All 3,000 pages of our website for this person are going to be talking about how we relate to Pipeline Deals. So our products will reposition themselves. The hero banners will all change. You'll see cutesy ads here about Pipeline Deals. You'll see a testimonial from JP, the CEO, pop up once in a while talking, oh boy, I love these guys. So the point is we're going to be wrapping this experience on the website with this behavioral information, which is what they talked about on the phone. So we're going to take this audience and we're going to publish it as a custom audience to Facebook, right? And then the idea here is this audience will automatically be kept up to date, and we're going to be trying to get the people who have expressed an interest in Pipeline Deals and have not signed up for a trial yet. We're going to want to target these people with custom ads in Facebook. So we go into Ads Manager and we create a bunch of cutesy ads about Pipeline Deals and ActiveDEMAND, right? So peas in a pod, maybe there's milk and cookies, right? There's all these different ads that we're going to create here. Like you see milk and cookies, peanut butter and jelly, peas in a pod, and all of these about Pipeline Deals and ActiveDEMAND. So we're going to take, this is the ads that we've created to target this person who we know has or have strong beliefs because they talked about Pipeline Deals on the phone, that this person, so they don't have a trial and they are have an interest in Pipeline Deals. So what we want to do is take these ads and target that custom audience. So basically in Ads Manager, we've published the audience, and the audience shows up in the audiences section as our Pipeline Deals prospects. So now we're going to target those ads at these people, And it's a case that it's a very, very targeted list, right? So it's a case that we're now going to be, and all they did was talk about pipeline deals back on this page, right? So they talk about pipeline deals. Now the website's changed with our dynamic content, pop-ups, overlays, and as well with Facebook advertising. We are hyper targeting this person with the pipeline deals story in Facebook. And it's the case that now the last piece of this puzzle is actually reporting on it. So as you know, with our dashboard tool and a report scheduling tool, we have a fantastic integration with Facebook. And basically what we do is we do have some very generic, we do have Facebook posting capabilities, et cetera, but I'm talking today about paid advertisements. So we do have some generic widgets for your dashboard that if you just select Facebook, and then these here, basically you can configure them once they're on your dashboard. But we also have a full custom widget builder, and it's here, analytics, report scheduler, or widget library. And as you see here, we do integrate with Google Sheets, Google Analytics, Google AdWords, but specifically I'm gonna highlight Facebook. And when I go through here, we have all these different widget types. We have full access to everything in the AdWords API, so you can really drill down to find exactly what you're looking for out of the Facebook interface. Then, of course, the results, and then publish this and put it on your dashboard or your reports. So that's really the story here. Is I just wanted to highlight this concept, just to pull it back to the beginning. Is yes, paid advertisement is generating quality leads is something we're all facing as far as challenges, and it's a case that ad spend, it's specifically in search engine marketing, is increasing drastically. And one of the interesting ones to reduce friction and get controlled friction is to consider in platform advertising, like for example in the Facebook ecosystem. It helps you control the friction. It also has the ability to, as you see here, do hyper targeting with ActiveDEMAND combined with the Facebook advertising. And ourselves, like I said, we've been using Facebook, like you know us. We absolutely dog food everything we build, and we've been using Facebook advertising for some time and getting good success. And this specific campaign I'm showing you here has actually been doing very well. We just, as soon as we published the ad, we were getting leads very quickly and turning into trials. And yeah, so that's it. That's the story. Hopefully you learned a little bit about what we're doing with Facebook. And yeah, I'll pass it back.